Welcome to the National Women's Fitness Academy podcast. We're here to talk about women's health, female hormones, body image, and all things health and fitness.
Hello, girls, and welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fitness Academy's podcast. I'm your host, Siggy, one of the WFA's educators and a women's online coach. Today, I've got a wonderful guest with me, a wonderful podcast, actually. I'm joined by Raquel, who's a women's coach as well, and who's actually building a space for women to thrive, to be part of the conversation, to advocate and empower women, which is literally why she's on here today. So, babe, welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Good to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on the podcast today, and thank you for that really nice introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So before we jump in, for those who don't know you, can you briefly tell them, what made you become a coach and what's coaching like for you right now?
Yeah. I was thinking about this before we did the podcast. How can I introduce this the best way possible? People would call me a personal trainer. I'm a strength coach. I train women. I want to empower women in the strength space. But I think what my coaching has evolved over the years is more in that sustainable lifestyle coaching, where it's not just about macros and calories, and it's not just about a photo shoot. It's not just about comp prep. It's sustainable, and I really hate the 8-week challenges, and that's not what my ethos is about. I really want to bring women into this fitness and training lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, and change their mindset around it, because we have so many influencers, we have so much touch points with Instagram and other people in the industry, but it's not always honest, it's not always real, and it's not always genuine. And sometimes we can get caught up in this, like, I need to look good for my wedding, I need to look good for my birthday, I have to shred, I have to do this in 8 weeks, and then you kind of get mixed up in chasing the goal, but your identity hasn't really shifted with that in the same speed. So you need more time. And I feel like my coaching has really evolved into more of this sustainable journey, where it's more than just 8 weeks. It's 6 to 12 months, really, and more. It's an ongoing process. And I'm sure you can relate, change doesn't happen quickly. It takes time. And I really think that's where, I'm not just a personal trainer. I'm also someone who has this experience and understands my clients' needs probably more than they really think. And yeah, that's really where it all started with a bikini comp, to be honest, and that's kind of where it's developed.
So what happened with the bikini comp?
Well, I was in the space in like a Derrimut, and I was training there, and I always saw these posters, never knew understood what it was. Then I decided, all right, let's have a look into it. Found a great coach. She helped me so much, and all credit to her. Love her. And I think you actually probably know her, Carla. She was great coach. But I think for the process for me, it was just really hard post comp, and I think it is really hard post comp for everyone. And I just think it wasn't probably the thing that was going to be my forever fitness thing. It was a experimental fitness journey, I would say, and I did it, struggled, and post comp struggled even more, and then I transitioned into powerlifting and loved it, but still was kind of lost after competing, kind of battling an identity, like, who am I? Do I like my body? Do I like what I see? Do I even like training anymore? What do I want to do? Kind of went through a bit of a slump, and then that's when I found strength training really grounded me and made me realize that it's not always about my body. It's not always about what I look like. It's how do I feel? Do I feel strong? What can I chase down with numbers in, deadlifting and squatting? And that really just changed my body image in my mind as well. So like how I perceived myself, and the aesthetics kind of just came a result of focusing more on my lifts rather than just always on what I was putting in my mouth too. But in saying that, it was a great experience, and I think if you do want to do something, definitely go chase it. But just know that there will be like changes in your life, and you have to kind of work with someone on that, and it's challenging.
I love that. I've spoken to so many other women who have been in a similar position as you, who started off with a bikini competition or whatever sport it is, and then they sort of found that they just weren't into it, and they found themselves wanting to do something completely different. But as you said, they lose that identity because they think they're wanting to do the competition, or they think they're wanting to do a bodybuilding show, but then in reality, they just don't align with it. And that's where I guess the confusion comes to, and back to what you said previously, it's, you know, that 8-week challenges or the 8-week programs, it's like it's a quick fix. However, what about post the 8 weeks? What do you do after that? And that's when people usually jump from one thing to another, trying to either find the new quick fix or a new dopamine hit, going, oh, I've achieved a goal. Cool. What's next?
Yeah. Yeah. Constantly chasing that new, like, it's like a new course, like for us coaches, what's the next thing? Like, instead of just going, this is where I'm at and I'm happy staying here, and just maintaining that, like a maintenance phase, like through like food kind of, and just in life, you know, what can you do to keep it sustainable? Because then you just kind of get wrapped up in what's next. And it's just, yeah, it's a bit of a battlefield sometimes.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, how it is very similar to coaches with courses. Most of our listeners are already coaches or wanting to become coaches. For those who are not, that's totally fine. We are talking about other stuff as well. But in relation, you know, we've already mentioned, hey, like so often, I'm sure you've been in that position, Raquel, as well, that you would do the 8-week program and then it would finish and be like, cool, what's next? What's next?
Yep.
What's next? What's next? It's like jumping from coach to coach. You know, there's been plenty of clients that have done that in the past, and they don't maintain that long-term relationship. It's always 8 weeks or 3 months, and they're like, oh, cool, that's done. Like, I'm finished. It's just like, this is your life. Like, this is a journey. It's not just a quick thing that you're going to achieve. It may take you longer than expected. But like you said, sometimes you have to maintain that goal for a little bit longer, whether it's a year or two, to actually hit that certain, you know, target that you're wanting to.
And it's so hard to break the mindset, not break it, but it's so hard to change the mindset of clients who are used to just hopping from coach to coach or hopping from goal to goal. And they may not even hit the original goal of what they really wanted to get out of something. Like I went to uni too, and I remember in uni we'd do an assignment and then you'd move on to the next thing and you forget the information of the last essay or the thing that you did. It's there, but you don't exactly remember everything that you did in that, you know, subject. So I feel like, you know, it's really challenging because in life we're very much about, like you said before, the dopamine. It's like, what's next? What's going to hit that buzz? What's going to get me excited again? And sometimes the exciting stuff isn't, or the fun stuff, like, you know, an exercise, like a bench press is not always exciting, but it's bang for buck. So yeah, it's challenging.
It is. What are some things that you have helped clients come across when they are in this sort of mindset?
It can be really hard to have this conversation sometimes because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So when clients want quick fixes, it's really just about reminding them what's realistic, what's achievable. And to be honest, I'm quite like a no bullshit coach. So I tell them honestly, and I tell them the experience of myself or other clients that I've had who try to do similar things. And I think that reminder that grounds you is probably the best thing possible, because when you have someone who's maybe in your ear always advocating to change or always advocating, you know, trying to get you to be motivated, and you haven't, like, it's just a bit skewed in a sense. You have too many people's thoughts and opinions, and then it's kind of this scramble and a mess, so that you don't really have any logical sense of what it is that you want. And I think that's when clients struggle the most, because they don't really have that, like, someone to tell them what is realistic and to keep them in that line, like, of what where we're going. So I think it's really important as a coach to have a plan, and also to remind your clients of where they're at, in, you know, not a judgmental way or a hurtful way, but just in a realistic way. Like, this is where you're at, this is where we're going. Is it still achievable? Is it still realistic? And tell them the process and keep them in line, because when they do have, like, even ourselves, we'll have moments where it's like, is this what I want to do? Am I sure? Like, that doubt comes in. It's really good to have that accountability person, whether it's a friend, a partner, or a coach, who kind of goes, yes, you're doing a good job, keep going. Because that's all it could be. You don't need a new idea or, oh, try this, try that. It's just, you need the reassurance that you're doing a good job. Don't give up. I think that's what it really is about, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And, as coaches, we do come across that with a lot of our clients when, let's say, they miss a week of training and they're like, oh, that's it. Like,
Mm,
back to square one. It's just like, no, it doesn't work that
so
way.
true.
Okay? Like it's literally, I had this conversation with a client of mine the other day and she's like, Sig, I didn't prioritize my training last week. I only hit 2 sessions. I was like, 2 is better than none.
Mm,
However, we want to realize why didn't you hit the other sessions? And she was, wise enough to realize that she prioritized other things aside from her training, but then realized that the following week she would be able to hit those certain targets that she
mm,
originally wanted to. So, yeah, it's also teaching them and making them realize that it's up to you to make the decision whether or not you're training or whether you're hitting your calories or whatever the goal is. It's, as you said, it's leading them to realize that, but also motivating, going, it is okay that you missed the
mm,
session. It's not the end of
mm.
the world.
Yeah, I have the same conversation with a few of my long-term clients, and it's just like giving you permission when you're having those moments of doubt or moments of fear, or like you need to rest a bit more, that it's okay to rest. It's okay to take time off if you need it, or it's unrealistic or unmanageable this week or this month. It is what it is. At the end of the day, as long as you can get to it at some point and not beat yourself up for not doing it as much as you wanted to, it's okay. Because as soon as you start to get in that mindset of what would you call it? Like not doing what you regularly would do, as soon as you get into this negative pattern, then and you get consumed by that, then you start to get into this phase where you can't get yourself out of. It's kind of like a little cage. You get stuck in a cage in your mind.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so true. And once you're in that cage, to be honest, it's quite hard to get out of because you're
Mm.
digging yourself into a hole.
Yeah. It's endless. And then like summer comes and it's like, oh, I want this body now and I want this. And it's exciting because it's warmer and like it's winter right now. It's freaking freezing. But
Mm-hmm.
you need to just do the things when they get hard, no matter what,
Mm.
as best you can, as best you can.
Yeah, exactly. What are some hard things that you have done or you're doing right now and you're just like, oh my God.
God. Well, I currently have 2 employees. So I have my own business, Raquel Fit PT. It's currently getting rebranded. And I've got 2 employees. So I think managing my staff is quite challenging.
Mm.
They're awesome. I love working with them. I think it's more of a me battle. Just am I doing them justice? Um, because being a personal trainer, I have all the skills with my clients, but then managing personal trainers who are new to the industry and, getting them clients under my wing, that's hard.
Mm.
That's really hard for me at the moment.
Yeah. And how are you how are you navigating that?
We have meetings. I give them programs. They do their programs. So there's a lot of like upskilling, but I think it's so weird because you forget how much you evolve in a certain time. I've
Mm.
been in this industry, not sure how long you've been in this industry, Sig, but I've been in this industry since I was 18
Oh,
and
wow.
only personal training since the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And so you forget where you start and
Yeah.
you forget what you were like when you started. So it's hard because they're just starting. So you kind of have to pull back and go, like, have less expectations on these people, but give them as much as possible to grow and to thrive and bloom. But, at the end of the day, like I said before, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So you just got to, I think, being this boss position where I'm running my business with my coaches, it's really important that I just give them and teach them as much as possible that they also can absorb, and it's not too hard for them to absorb too. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. I don't have employees. However, managing my own time is very challenging,
Yeah.
And
Really hard.
the same with with any type of coach. You're not just coaching your clients, it's all the other stuff behind the scenes, like you mentioned. When you have employees, it's upskilling them, giving them certain programs, or being kind to them, not like setting all these high expectations like we set on ourselves. I think
Yeah.
that's a huge one, especially now that you're their boss. You have this high expectation of yourself to show up for them.
Yep. It's the responsibility almost that is like too much sometimes. So like I get when client, like we were saying before, when you feel unmotivated or you feel like something's too hard and you want to give up, sometimes things in all our lives, we all have our own shit, our own baggage. I hope I can say that. So we're just, I think just take one step at a time. That's what I've learned recently. When things get hard, just do the day as best you can. If you don't do the task you wanted to, it's still going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, so true. I'm not going to become like all motivational right now about it, but it's fucking true.
Yeah.
Life is hard,
Love it.
and whoever is going to tell you, oh, life should be, butterflies and rainbows and unicorns everywhere, they are lying to you. Like life is not expected that way, even though
Yeah.
we do experience a lot of beautiful moments, happy moments, loving moments. That is part of the process. And, as cliche as it sounds, when you hit rock bottom or you hit a certain stressor or a failure, I don't like the word failure, but like a certain obstacle, that will propel you to the next level, to feeling better, to looking better, whatever the goal is, that takes you to that next level. But then when you're in that next level, guess what? There's going to be another stressor. And then from that stressor, there's going to be another one and another one. And it's like literally just climbing up a hill. But as you said, when looking back, when we first started coaching, it's just like, oh, wow, like what were we thinking back then? Like, this is really, like, this is funny. Like, I used to do this all the stuff, but then looking back, we're like, oh, we were so stressed about starting our own businesses or starting in the coaching industry. And now you're a boss of 2 employees. That's already like an added stress. Like, who knows what the next level is?
Yeah. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. But I was like literally talking to this one of my clients the other day. I was like, you're going to have higher level problems. You don't want to have the same problem. So it's good to have problems, but you want them to be better and almost different, because if you don't have different problems, maybe something's not, you haven't fully resolved the original, because you want to have new problems. You actually do, because that's going to, like you said, make you thrive. So yeah.
It's not funny because most people will probably be listening to this, or people in general around the world will be like, what are you smoking right now? Like, why would you want
Sure.
I know, why would you want to be stressed out? It's just like, dude, we don't want to be stressed out, but that is life, like every stress has a certain lesson for us to grow and evolve to that stressor.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've heard of The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday.
Yes,
yeah. Have you also read The Obstacle is the Way by him as well?
No, it's on my to-do list.
And fantastic, easiest read possible. I would highly recommend it. But I think through those teachings, I think it makes you have a bit of a reality check. Life is supposed to have these points where it's not fun and it's not exciting and you feel like you want to give up all the time. It's supposed to, like, it's going to be like that. Not supposed to be, but it's going to be like that. It's going to be challenging. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt. But yeah, you're right. Like, that's life. This is what makes you a better person. It gives you those lessons that you need. Like, life is kind of pulling you in a certain direction and you just need to go, okay, how can I get through this? Or who can I ask for help? Or what do I need to do to like get over this or move forward from this? Because at the end of the day, like, you're going to have more problems. You're going to have more problems.
Yeah. Sorry to burst your bubble, girls, but yeah, that is life.
It's a bit of the dark side of this.
I know.
Stuff.
I don't know who else is still listening to this, but if you
Sorry.
are,
Oops.
You know what? Like you said, you're a non-bullshit type of coach, and I'm very front on with a lot of people, even though they don't want to really hear it. Sometimes the truth is very, very needed.
Yeah, I agree. It sets you free sometimes.
It really does. And for those who feel sensitive towards it and feel triggered, all I'm going to say is try and figure out why it's triggering you.
Yeah, actually, my boyfriend said this to me recently. He's like, if this still triggers you, there's obviously something about this that you haven't resolved. And I was like, you're right. I was like, shit.
Seriously, guys, like when you get triggered by someone posting a certain post or they say a certain thing and you're like, why is this pissing me off so much? Because it's nothing to do with them. It's all within you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's a topic for another day. I reckon that would like dive way too deep into that.
Yeah, I feel like the weather's gloomy. This is turning sour. No, I'm joking. It's a
I
great
know.
conversation.
Right now we're both in Melbourne and it's like I'm looking outside, it's like grey sky, raining, and I'm just like, wow, it's pretty fucking dark out there.
Yeah. Winter has hit.
I know, right? Let's lighten the conversation up a little
I
bit.
think so.
So we've spoken about how, you and I have overcome the 8-week challenges, looking more at sustainable coaching side of things. Training right now, what does that look like for you? Because we did do the bikini competition, we did do powerlifting. Are we still doing more like strength training?
Yeah, still doing powerlifting. I actually have some clients competing this weekend at Barbell Babes Brigade in Coburg. So I'm really looking forward to taking the girls there. So that's where my journey started, really, with powerlifting, was at BBB. And ever since then, I've kind of taken on that powerlifting ethos as well in my strength training. And I've been dying to get girls to compete, but then COVID happened, couldn't do it. Finally, I've got a couple girls who are going to compete this weekend. So my training at the moment, I work with Jamie from Strength Culture, and he does my programming. I personally love having a coach myself. I think it just takes the pressure off. I don't have to think about it. It's already there. I've got his support. I just love having that network. I've got his education too. So it helps. It gives me that, upskilling as required as a coach too, because there's always something new.
Yeah.
So yeah, my coaching is powerlifting, like style, but it's still got the elements of hypertrophy and whatnot. So I think powerlifting kind of get mixed up in like it's just squat, bench, deadlifts, but there are other things we do. But I personally like training those movements because it keeps me focused. So yeah.
And it's very empowering for women.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot actually with the clients that I like attract, and I'm not sure if it's because you attract people who are similar to you, but I think the clients who I train and my girls train as well, we all love squatting, benching, and deadlifting. They love seeing their numbers go up. They love learning how to do these movements. They love being able to be under a bar and feel confident to squat and get into their positions. So I feel like it is a very, very empowering exercise for women to do. So at least you know how to use the bar. You can walk into any gym and you can literally just use the bar. You know what to do.
And that's very motivating for, like, obviously for women, because we're all about women empowerment, but it's us having an understanding of how to train independently as well, because I'm sure when you first started training you were like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, picking up a bar, 100%.
Yeah, and just like I'm just going to avoid the weights. I'm just going to go straight into the cardio and just run.
Yeah, every time I used to do that. I used to do 10 minutes of treadmill, 10 minutes of bike, 10 minutes of the cross trainer.
Sounds like me. I used to do like intervals.
What did you do?
Intervals.
Oh, yeah, all of that.
Yeah, used to head to the gym. I would literally, like, the weights area, the gym that I started off, you have to walk past it to the cardio area, and I would always see like the men
just deflect.
Yeah, grunting, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so like masculine and scary. I was like, I'll just do the cardio, and I would jump onto the treadmill, warm up for 5 minutes, and then I'll like sprint 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and I would actually just die by the end of it.
Yeah, but that's all you knew, like that's all that you felt comfortable with. And I'm sure you probably have the same feels. When I go to a new gym and I don't know where anything is, I have that little mini moment of like anxiety. I'm like, okay, all right, put my bag away, take a breath, go toilet, and let's just start somewhere. Just find what the bench, or go to the platform and warm up a little bit, and we'll be sweet. Yeah, it can be intimidating.
Yeah, it's so true. When you come across new clients who are wanting to strength train, what are some of the common themes that you find them wanting to train but still having that hesitation of being scared to start strength training?
Good question. I think the hesitation actually might be injury.
Mm.
Not so much bulkiness with my clients. My clients don't, they know when they come to me, they don't want to do cardio, they're sick of it. So when they come to see me, they're pretty sure they've researched me quite a bit and they're in that they want to lift.
Yeah.
I think it's more so I want to do it properly, that I don't hurt myself, or I'm ready to advance to the next level where I can chin up or I can hit more of a strength goal, have, because I'm going to say it, I reckon women are becoming so much more savvier with their training because there's so many online coaches. So, and their programs aren't bad. Their programs are not shit. So, the program is pretty standard, but they want someone who's going to be able to teach them what they're doing. And that's a trend I've noticed with a lot of girls who have their online program. They don't really know how to do it better, and they need someone to teach them, that they like teach them the form and tell them they're doing it right if they're doing it right. So to be honest, I think that's actually the block at the moment.
And how are you navigating with those blocks? Like, how are you helping them regarding that?
Well, my service is face to face, so that's the best part, is that when they we do have that programming in the face to face service. But yeah, there are some clients who come to us who already have an online program and they just want someone to run it through with them, which is interesting because
Yeah.
it's been a couple of times now, and we've taken them through the block, and then they end up actually just wanting a coach. So because they don't know what they're doing, they know they know what the machine looks like and where to go, but they just still haven't got that fully formed check right. So
Mm.
it's quite interesting. It's good, but it's also like, have they spent their money well worth? So
Yeah, well, it's good for you in essence
it's
because
great for me.
yeah, you're getting those inquiries, but you've literally you've said a really good point regarding this because again, anyone and everyone can be an online coach these days.
Mhm.
But as you said, yes, the programs may be good, but if the client itself is not sure how to navigate it around the program, are you doing like, are you being at service for them? And I
Yeah.
think this is really important. And as a online coach, I thoroughly take my clients over their program
Mm,
and literally spend a good hour before that block going, cool, what questions do you have? What are some of the
good.
exercises that you're not sure? And again, something that I've noticed that lacks in is movement patterns, like getting feedback for videos.
Yes.
And it's funny
Totally.
because like if my clients are listening to this right now, they'll be like, yep, she is the freaking queen of videos. Like I would literally
I love.
message them and be like, where is your video? Because if you didn't send me a video, you didn't train today.
You didn't do it.
Exactly. It's like, when we take selfies of ourselves in the mirror after a training session, you're like, yeah, good, did my session. It's like my clients with their videos. I'm like, where is the girl? I need to know. I need information because
I love that.
if I don't have the feedback, how are they going to get the feedback themselves if they're doing it correct or not? So, yeah, you mentioned a really good point. That's something that I've seen that has been lacking around the online space.
The online space, yeah. I think some coaches do it really well, like yourself, clearly. And then there's some coaches who probably just neglect a lot. And I do get a lot of inquiries. I'm sure you have the same, who have been neglected in that way and they're not sure, they're a bit scared, and it's not empowering. It's not bringing confidence to the female space, but yeah, it is it's good that you do that.
It's funny because I've implemented that over the last few years since being online, but it's funny because how you said we attract the clients that we want, and we attract also the coaches that we want. So obviously, like I've heard of Jamie and he's fucking amazing. My coach James is literally probably like the male version of me, and whenever we chat about programming, he'd be like, cool, this is your next phase, this is how it's going to be, this is whatever, like tempo, structure, blah blah blah, these are like the days you should be setting it up, literally like very thorough. So by the end of the session of your Zoom check-in or whatever, exactly what you need to do for the next 4 or 6 weeks or 8 weeks with that information. And I think it's very empowering.
It's very important too, like really important. So if anyone out there has coaches and they're not explaining your coaching block, your training program, then you're missing a really important element of the actual training structure.
Yeah, well, it's so funny that you mentioned that because previous experience of mine, and you know what? we all learn from our mistakes as well. I used to just give out programs to whoever and whenever and be like, there you go, have fun with that. And they didn't last. And obviously I've learned why didn't they last? Because I didn't give them enough depth or information about why they're doing what they're doing. So yeah, with programming, as much as coaches, we love writing it up, we actually need to explain to our clients as well what they're doing and what the goal is for that block. Because as you said, otherwise they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, I think it just also gives them that value, that's why they're paying you to have that, service for someone to oversee it, and it kind of sets you apart from that individualized, tailored programming instead of feeling like it may be a generic program, which there are many of those.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Funny that because, well, it's not funny. It is sad because there's a lot of cookie cutter programs out there. And like you said, you would get a lot of people who want to do like a one-on-one session with you while they have an online coach, but then obviously wanting more face-to-face. It's exactly like that. Like I sometimes get inquiries of people going, oh, I used to have this coach, but it was literally a copy paste from another person's program, I want to know, how are you different? And it's just like, wow, like how do I explain this without you even, having this built up trust? Because, when you have a lacking experience of coaching, you're going to take that experience with you onto the next person. It's like dating,
Yeah.
That date with someone.
Dating.
Oh, don't get me freaking started.
Let's not.
But it's literally like dating. If you have your first date with this guy and like everything looks amazing and you have your first, but then 2 days later you don't hear from him and you just never hear back from him. Like, oh my God, he ghosted me. Like I thought we had a good time. That's literally like your coaching experience.
Yeah.
If someone
made a good point there.
Yeah. Like if you're getting a cookie cut program, but then you're wanting to reach out to a new coach, like you don't even realize you're putting like a blockage in front of you going, I want a new coach, but they may give me a cookie cutter program. It's just like, well, you need to have the trust within them to build that relationship.
I agree. I think too, just important on that one, like there's going to be things that are going to be similar. Like there can't be fancy exercises all the time too. Like it needs to be quite basic, especially if you're a beginner. So you need to nail those basic movements. It might be 5 exercises. It hopefully is not 20 in a day. 5 is enough. 5 is more than enough to do, and then build on that as you go. So I feel like sometimes people do get caught up in what's going to be different. What is there something I don't know on here? Sometimes it's not always about what you don't know. Sometimes is it actually, are you going to get the results that you want out of this? And it's a journey. It's not a week thing. It's a lifelong thing.
Yes. Yeah. I love that you mentioned that, because with programming, like you said, like 20 exercises, no. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be so fatigued by, the 10th exercise. It's like, that's why I can't stand certain circuits, because it's literally utilizing way too much energy, where you can literally do 5 exercises, train at your absolute best, and leave the gym feeling good instead of feeling depleted.
Yep. 100%. Time and place. 20 exercises, not my thing.
And fancy ones, like no one cares about you doing a reverse lunge into a bicep curl into an overhead press.
Yeah. Or I saw the other one the other day, a single-legged something on a hack squat, like booty thing, and I was like, what? I'm like, just do a step up. I'm like, just do a step up. Why are you making this so like fancy and weird for?
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Like it drives people to it because it looks fancy.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I'll try that. Yeah, I don't know.
But you know what? Coaches these days are noticing that that's not sustainable. You have to stick to the basics for long-term progress.
Good coaches are, yeah.
Yes, 100%. Love it. I love where this conversation was going. You were going to start talking about dating.
Was I?
Yeah, you're like, oh, dating. I'm just like, shall we go there?
Dating? Well, are we actually? No.
Why not? Let's see if we can relate it back to coaching. So you said you have right now. Is he a coach as well?
No. He's an electrician.
How do you guys navigate your relationship? Like the time difference, is it different lifestyles?
Uh, I think it's I don't know how to Jesus. This is really a curveball. I think let's hold on, let's go back for a sec. I think dating is actually quite challenging. And I think
Yes.
when I was dating, I think I really positioned myself like in the right headspace. I set up my Tinder profile. I was on Tinder profile in a way that kind of attracted the dating aspect. So
Mm.
I wrote some things in there. I said cute but psycho just to be fun. And then I said, your abs are cool, but your manners will impress me more. Be a
Yes.
gentleman, ask me out. So I set it up quite nice. And then, I did go on some dates, and there are some really great guys. There are some really great guys out there, some great people.
Mm.
But I think it's just really positioning yourself in a way that, or like, what do you want to attract, and really not getting so caught up in someone,
Yeah.
really letting it develop. And I think just like a coaching experience, like let it develop, let it take its time, because as soon as you start asking sometimes the wrong questions, it can be too much. It can be too much too soon. You start overthinking things, but intuitively when things are right or when it feels good. So I don't know. Are you dating?
Yes, I am actually just
Oh,
recently. So, recently single. I think it's been about like 6 or 7 months now. And
wow.
at
Okay.
the start, I was just like, nah, I'm doing me. You know what it's like when you're healing after a breakup. You just need time to just recollect yourself, figure out what it is that you're wanting. And you know what? Dating, as much as people don't want to hear it, it is like another side job, you know?
Mm.
It is. It is though, even though it's fun and games, for you to start getting to know someone else, it's putting yourself aside from, whether it's work life, family life, social life. It's like, cool, now it's a dating life. You have to
Mm.
make space for that as well. And if you don't have that space, whether it's time, but emotionally as well,
Yep.
you're wasting your time and you're wasting that person's time as well. So, yeah, it's only been like a month, to be honest, since I've been back on the
Back
scene.
in the dating. Are you on the apps or?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am on the app. Just
App.
one,
Okay, one.
just one. But I really love the fact how you set your intention when you are on Tinder about setting um, what you're after, what you're looking for. And that's literally what I did. I literally stated
Mm.
what I'm into, what I'm looking for, what I will not tolerate.
Yeah.
And that literally wipes all the duds. Well, not the duds, but all the ones that are not going to be interest in me.
Yeah. And I think at like it's going to be times on those apps. I think I was just on the app actually too. I didn't know it was on apps, but it was like I delete it, I go back, I delete it, I go back. And
Yes.
every time my like bio would change. And finally I kind of just stuck to one and just left it because I set it up in the right way. And it's attracting people who was more interested and curious about what I meant. And
Mm.
I think yeah, it's really hard. But there are good people out there. You just gotta give them a chance. Go
Yeah.
on. I
Yes.
actually what I did, I would ask people to video call before like meeting as
Oh,
well, just to like have a quick like, hi, how are you? See if there was chemistry, banter, and if there was like nothing, then I'd be like, nah.
I didn't even know there was an option like that.
Oh well, we might take it. They do. They have the video call option on Tinder, but
Yeah.
you can just take it to Instagram or if you're
How
comfortable with that.
funny.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I was just like, cool, let's meet.
No, I need to like sit, like be comfortable in my room and like have a little chat
Yeah.
and see if like, it is a little awkward. It's like the first time you meet, it is awkward, but at least you can see them and like, I
No,
don't
they're
know, it's
real.
interesting. Yeah, no, they're real. No, they're not catfishing you. Are they weird? You know, we're all a little weird, but
Yeah, we are.
it's
We're
like
all
in a
weird.
safe space. I feel like it was just a safe space to do it in rather than meet this person and have no idea if it was the right person or like if they were real.
I like that tip. Well, for all our single girls, start video calling.
Video chatting. It's fun.
Seriously. So back onto, relationships and coaching, how is that something that you're navigating right now? Because you guys are living two different lifestyles.
Yeah, well, he trains. He does his own thing. I do my own thing. I try not to get too involved in his training. I think having like I've been in a
Especially as
couple.
a coach.
especially as a coach, I have had a couple partners in the past, and with my with all of them, they're all different. So I think I've learnt now that he's going to do his thing, and when he wants my advice, he'll ask. So if he wants my perspective, he'll ask. I'm not going to push my agenda. So I kind of let that be. And yeah, I'm not sure. There's no really issues around it, I guess.
That's good. I love that. Yeah,
Mm.
because sometimes I love you mentioned that with programming or with training in the past, you used to, just dabble in, be like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? How can I
Oh
help?
yeah, I'll make your program, I'll write it for you. You're doing this wrong. Why are you doing so many exercises for? This is too much volume, too much, too much. Everything's guys, honestly, you just train sometimes ridiculous things.
All right. So much volume.
Like typical Arnold, perspective, nothing but a peanut kind of training, just all this stuff. And it's like, whoa, you don't need to do this.
No. But I love the fact how now you've separated that. You're not wearing that coach hat in the relationship.
Yeah.
You're the girlfriend.
Yeah, I think as well, I don't want to wear the mum hat either. I feel
Mm.
like I've done that a little bit too much, and it's I just don't want to have that on my shoulders right now. I don't need to be the mum. I'm not your mum. So if you want my advice, you ask me. I'm not gonna just, when mums like to just tell you everything, give you everything, do this, do that. And I was like, whoa, didn't
Too much
ask.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the time they don't even ask for it. And we're just literally verbal diarrhea. It's just like,
Yeah.
what just happened?
Yeah. 100%.
Oh my God, I love that. So good. It's so funny how we ended up finishing up with dating. Was not expecting that whatsoever, but I know it's going
Neither. I feel a little thrown.
yeah, it's going to be so relatable to our listeners. So yeah, love that. Before we head off, where can our followers and listeners find you, Raquel?
So it's at Raquel Fit PT on Instagram. So RAQUELFITPT, or the Female Health Show on Spotify. And I think that's it. I've got a website too, but that's going to be changing, so don't worry about that.
Oh, love it. I'm looking forward to the rebranding.
Yeah, it's official. It's all done. It's just me need to bite the trigger and actually release it and do it. So it's all there. It's all there.
Love it. So good. Well, girls, if you enjoyed today's podcast, please make sure that you screenshot it, tag us, leave us a review. And
Yes,
then
please.
until next time, don't mother your boyfriends and maybe look into, if you have an online coach, maybe look into the programming aspect side of things and
Yeah.
delve a little bit into their education.
Suss them out a little more. Get them to work.